Hi Stephen, I'm going to record some feedback for you on your first draft of your guidelines. This looks really good so far. I think you've understood the context really well. First bit, your title, a guideline for parents who are about to relocate to Taiwan. We don't need A for Taiwan, the name of a country. I am an immigration officer. Immigration officer is a title, so you can use capital letters for a proper noun. In Taiwan, who, because it's a person, who is in charge of helping those who seek to move to Taiwan. We use into when we talk about moving into a specific place, for example, into a new house. But for Taiwan, we just use to a place. This document is a collection of problems that an immigrant might face moving to Taiwan, and advice, or some advice, that might help. I hope these suggestions may help you to strive. I think here you probably mean thrive, to do really well in this beautiful country. This is okay to put it in a table format, but if you do this in the exam, they may think you don't understand what a guideline should look like. So it might be better if you use your questions as your points. So point number 1, I'm not familiar with Mandarin or Taiwanese, what will I do? And that would be your point 1. So you'd have number 1, your first problem or your first bit of advice, and then explain it in a bit more detail, number 2, number 3, and then a short conclusion at the end, just to show that you've understood the format of a guideline. The content is fine, but you just need to think about the format now. I would suggest that you move into an area where foreigners would gather, places like Timor or Sini. You can find many that can help you. I think here you need many people. You need a noun to make it clear that can help you, or who, because again it's a person, who can help you with adapting to Taiwan, and also many Taiwanese who are, plural, familiar with English. Good, that's really clear. You've got your problem and a clear bit of advice that you've explained. Number 2, where should my kids study? I would suggest that you allow means to give permission, but I think here you're actually giving some advice. So I suggest that you let your kids, or send your kids suggest that you let your kids study at an international or bilingual school, as it is a great way for your kids to get familiar with Taiwanese culture and still be able to communicate with a language your kids are familiar with. You've used familiar twice here. It might be better to say and still be able to communicate in their home language or in a language they know better. I'm afraid that I may offend someone since I do not know Taiwanese traditions and beliefs. What do I do? Here, when you say what do I do, it's better to say what can I do, because you're asking for help. So what can I do for both of those questions? I would suggest that you find a friend or an elder. What do you mean by elder? Do you mean an older person in society? Or perhaps a neighbour or something like that? Who, again, because it's a person, can speak English and is familiar with Taiwanese culture. And perhaps ask, rather than ask, because that would be the past tense, ask him what you should beware of. Beware is when you're making a statement, for example, beware danger, there are cars coming. Be aware means to pay attention to. So here you're actually saying be aware of something. However, there are countless things that our culture believes. Therefore, it's important that you observe what other people typically do and ask about the actions you may not understand. I'm sure they, future, will be happy to answer or happy to help you. That's really good so far. So I think you need to think about the format, so point 1, 2, 3, and then also add a short conclusion at the end to summarise the advice that you've given. But this is a really good first draft so far, so well done, Stephen.